Entering the house, Han thought that it looked very welcoming. There was already furniture prepared for him and his servants, with an open hallway and a spiral metal staircase that went up to each of the floors. On his right, he saw that there was a mini library with leather seats and sofas. This is likely where he would entertain guests over a drink. To his left, there was a large dining area with a table that held 12 chairs. Even with the large table, there was plenty of space to make it not feel cramped. Han could see a door on the opposite side of the entrance wall, likely leading to the kitchen. From the stronghold, Han would need to bring some of the staff instead of just having them teleport back and forth. It would be kind of hard to explain where the finished dishes were coming from if he only had them cooked at the stronghold. Continuing down the main hallway, next to the library room, there was a private lounge area. This was likely for himself and close friends to relax in while they talked about daily events. Across from the lounge room, there was a kitchen and small area for servants to have their meals. Having servants eat separately made sense to him, considering the period he was in. The servants' area was relatively large, probably one of the largest rooms in the house, if you also included the kitchen. Going up the winding stairs, they moved to the second floor to where the servants would be staying at. There were 12 rooms for his servants to sleep in. This floor also had a communal bathing area and restroom for the servants. On the third floor, everything seemed to be dedicated to him. There was a large master bedroom, reading room, and his sky room. When they arrived back on the first floor, Val said to him, "My lord, I'll be taking my leave now, so if there are any questions, feel free to contact me. In the tower, you can reach the elevator on the second floor and it will take you up to the first floor of the disciplinary committee section. All you need to do is get in contact with the person at the front desk and request to see me. On the dining table, we have included all the information related to your general learning classes and a map of the academy. If you'll now excuse me." She gave him a bow and left his house. Once Val was gone, Han looked over at the girls and said, "What did you think of this place? It seems like an entertaining area." Queen looked at him and stated, "Master, these people are not worth your time. They are not even close to the powers that we carry, let alone masters. With their attitude, they have shown such utter disrespect and deserve to be eliminated." Her eyes flashed in anger at how badly she felt Han had been treated. "I agree with Queen, Master. These people act as if they are powerful, but they are surprised by even a minor flame spell. For what purpose are we even here, considering they do not even provide a challenge to you? With a wave of your hand, this entire city could be destroyed." Helania chimed in. She still looked bothered by Han's expression when he looked out at the lawn. Her feeling of helplessness at helping out Han led her to lash out at the city. Han looked at Brittany, who had yet to say anything about all this. "What are your thoughts, Brittany?" "I apologize, Master. I also support what Queen and Helania had to say. Though I am happy to be with you, I feel troubled by how those around us are treating you, our master, as if they are on the same level." Brittany slowly lowered her head, becoming troubled by everything. Han walked up to Brittany and gave her a hug. Her body was trembling in silent fury over what she considered to be a grave offense, but as he held her in his arms, she began to relax. Whispering into her ear, Han said, "Brittany, I greatly appreciate all of you here with me, and I am happy that you stand up for me so often. Without all of you here, including those in the stronghold, this world would have been a dark and dreadful place. I can smile only because of the support you provide me." He pulled away and looked into her eyes to convey his sincere feelings. Gently, Han went and gave her a kiss, feeling her soft and gentle lips on his. Removing his lips from hers, he saw that she was blushing while looking jubilant. Han wasn't kidding when talking about how his creations helped him in enjoying this world. This was the first time he had experienced such supportive people in his life, who were continually standing up for him and getting angry in his stead. Back on Earth, Han felt like friends hung out with him due to them seeing him as convenient. He thought back to when friends would make plans with him, but they would suddenly cancel when another friend invited them to hang out. These types of events gave him the impressions that his friends would only make plans with him if they had nothing else going on. The funny thing was how he started to call them several hours in advance to confirm if his friends still planned to hang out with him. This prevented him from getting excited about seeing his friends if they ended up canceling because something better came along. People on Earth would likely criticize him about his relationship with his creations, but he considered the way they often treated him and thought at least his creations would never betray his expectations. Rubbing his hands together, Han stated, "Now that we have another place to call home, we should probably bring some people to fill this place up. Helania, I want you to bring over a full cooking staff for this place. I am talking about a chef, a sous chef, several line chefs, prep cooks, a dishwasher, and waitresses. Brittany, I am going to need you to bring in enough maids for this place to make sure that everything is well maintained. Queen, you will need to have some of your shadow minions monitor this area and ensure that any intruders are watched. Killed if they do anything that could endanger us." Han looked at each one as he handed out his orders. "Yes, master," they said, looking happy that they would be completing tasks assigned by him. Smiling at how serious they looked, he went into his lounge area, walking past the library and thinking he should read some of those books. In his lounge, Han sat on the leather seat and thought it would be fun to have something to drink and smoke with. Flicking his finger, Han made a glass filled with scotch with a substantial chunk of ice that wouldn't melt quickly appear floating in front of him. Taking the cup, he took a light sip from it and gave a sigh of contentment. After savoring the flavor, he made a hookah appear next to him and already prepped an apple on top, filled with fruity tobacco and covered with aluminum foil along with hot coals on top. Not wanting to taste the sharp flavor, he made the pipe have a frozen end to it. This would cool the smoke as it passed by the colder area. Priming the hookah, he started to get a decent hit off of it and just reminisced about when he used to go to the local hookah lounge with friends after his community college classes were finished for the day. When the place first opened up, they'd go almost every day and just talk about different topics ranging from school to dating. When they met Beth, they'd go and smoke hookah with their friends. She would lay against him on the comfortable couch and they would pass the pipe back and forth as they talked about their future together. His friends would tease him, calling him such a romantic and laughing how in love he looked. Hearing his friends, he would blush and cause them to howl even louder. It was such a happy... "Master, are you okay?" Brittany asked him with a concerned voice. "I am fine." "Please, do not say that you are fine, master," she scolded him, tears appearing in her eyes. "You always say you are fine, but we can see that you are in great pain whenever you stare off into the distance. If there is anything we can do, we want you to be able to talk to us about it." The way she looked, Han could tell that she was hurt by his inability to open up about himself. Sighing, he placed his glass on the coffee table and hung the pipe on the hookah. Getting up, Han moved over to the sofa. After sitting down, he motioned for Brittany to come and sit next to him. When she sat down, he gently pulled her towards him, and she rested her head on his shoulder. My gentle and caring Brittany, I did not mean to upset you, he gently whispered to her. I have not always been as powerful as I am now. Seeing her look at him, he continued. At one point, I was even weaker than these humans that walk around the city. Before I came to this world, I lived on another one among those similar to me. Life was difficult as I tried to figure out my place in that world. Brittany looked like she wanted to ask him a question, but he ignored her and moved on. When compared to those who were close to me, I was always running about to secure my future. Along the way, I met a girl who enjoyed being around me. She was a kind woman who would take care of those around her. As we became closer, we slowly fell in love and began a life together. Things were going great, at least that was what I believed. For whatever reason, her feelings for me began to lose its initial power, and she began to develop feelings for another man. This man was a close friend, who I believed was someone I could rely on. I later found out they had developed a relationship and was hiding it from me. Though I do not mean to, I sometimes find myself thinking of this woman and the memories that we developed together. I hope you can forgive me for keeping my thoughts hidden from the three of you. On his chest, Han could feel teardrops falling, and when he raised Brittany's face to look, he saw that tears were streaming down her face. Master, should have told this to us sooner, she spoke as her voice quivered. Burying her face into his chest, she wailed on behalf of his suffering. Brittany's wail could be felt deep within his chest, as if it was trying to penetrate into his heart. Her cries conveyed her feeling of wanting him to rely on her more, to share the times when he was sad, and the times he was happy. Wrapping his arms around her, he hugged her tighter, because he also wanted to feel the love she felt for him. Han held her as if he was afraid that her feelings would disappear, like the wind, and he would be left behind again. Even after Brittany had stopped crying, Han still held her, though not as tightly. It felt like everything around them had stopped, and only the two of them existed in that one precious moment. Without realizing it, the sun had gone down and the night sky could be seen. In the background, there were firefly-looking creatures, flying about as they tried to gain attention from their future mate. Master, Brittany said, her voice muffled. Though I do not know what allowed you to create us, I want to let you know that I love you, Master. Surprised by her straightforward declaration, he gently let her go and moved her back. Looking at her face, he saw that her eyes were red and puffy, though she still looked beautiful. He guessed that she was the type of individual who could cry and stay stunning. Placing both of his hands on either side of her head, Han looked deeply into her eyes and said, I love you too, Brittany. Han proceeded to place a kiss on her forehead and smiled when she blushed. Two voices then called out to him, saying, Master, we love you too. Looking over to the source of the voices, he saw Helania and Queen standing next to the entrance into the lounge area, both of them looking like they had been crying. Reaching for them with one of his hands, he gently smiled as they rushed towards him crying. When Queen and Helania reached him, he held the three of them to his chest. With Queen and Helania shedding their tears, Brittany renewed her weeping. Instead of tears of sadness, it felt like they were crying in happiness. I love all of you, Han said to them, which just caused them to wail louder. Looking out the window, overlooking his backyard. Hans saw the two moons floating in the air and thought it was a pleasant sight.